The final phase of the battle began when Admiral Carter opened communications with the remaining alien fleet. Only 342 ships survived from the original 9,900 that had entered human space. Most were damaged, all were demoralized, and their crews were begging their commanders to retreat. Alien fleet, this is Admiral Carter of the Earth Defense Force. I'm offering you one chance to surrender. Lower your shields, power down your weapons, and prepare to be boarded. You have 5 minutes to comply. Admiral HFY looked around. His shattered bridge. Half his crew was dead. His ship's systems were failing. His perfect fleet had been destroyed by an enemy that refused to fight by any civilized rules, but his pride would not let him surrender to primitives. Never, he transmitted back. The Zelkari Empire does not surrender to inferior species. Carter's response was cold and final. Then you'll die like the rest. All human ships, execute final solution. No survivors unless they surrender unconditionally. The last 18 minutes of the battle became a legend that would be told throughout the galaxy for centuries. Human ships, many of them held together, by emergency repairs and crew determination, systematically hunted down every remaining alien vessel. Captain Chris Murphy's destroyer found Admiral HFY's flagship trying to escape toward the outer system. The Zelkari ship was twice the size of the human destroyer and carried enough firepower to level a city. But size meant nothing when your enemy knew exactly where to hit you. "Sir, the alien flagship is hailing us," reported Murphy's communications officer. "Put him on screen." HFY's image appeared, his alien features twisted with rage and desperation. "Human captain, I demand single combat between our ships. Winner takes all as civilized warriors should fight." Murphy almost laughed. "Admiral, you came here with 9,900 ships to fight 847. You wanted to exterminate our entire species. And now you want to talk about civilized warfare? Your species cannot defeat the Zelkari Empire. Even if you destroy this fleet, more will come. Billions of ships will darken your skies. Then we'll kill those too," Murphy replied calmly. "You, aliens, still don't understand what you're dealing with. Humans have been practicing genocide for 10,000 years. We're very good at it." The human destroyer opened fire with its last torpedo. The weapon had been modified with technology stolen from 6 different alien species. It punched through the Zelkari flagship's shields and exploded inside the ship's reactor core. Admiral HFY's last transmission was a scream of rage as his ship exploded in a ball of nuclear fire. The leader of the greatest alien armada in galactic history died, knowing that his species had awakened something terrible. Across the battlefield, similar scenes played out. Human ships cornered fleeing alien vessels and destroyed them without mercy. The aliens had come to commit genocide. The humans were simply returning the favor. But 17 alien ships managed to surrender before the final assault began. Captain Tony Walsh of the corvette UES Shark herded them into a group near Jupiter's moons. His ship was barely functional, running on backup power with half the crew dead. But he kept his weapons trained on the alien survivors. "This is Captain Walsh to surrendered vessels. You are now prisoners of the Human Defense Force. Any attempt to escape or signal for help will result in immediate destruction. You came here to kill us all. The only reason you're still alive is because Admiral Carter wants witnesses." The alien crews huddled inside their damaged ships, listening to human voices on their communication systems. The humans were not celebrating their victory. They were already making plans for the next battle. They talked about hunting down alien worlds and showing them what happened to species that threatened humanity. Admiral Carter arrived at the surrender site aboard her command ship. She looked at the 17 alien vessels with the cold eyes of someone who had seen too much war. These ships represented 12 different species that had united to destroy humanity. Now they would carry a different message back to their worlds. "Alien commanders, I am Admiral Lisa Carter. You are the only survivors of your fleet. That was not an accident. We could have killed all of you, but we chose to let you live for one reason. You're going home to tell your people what happened here. The alien commanders appeared on her screen, their faces showing different expressions of the same emotion. Terror. They had come to destroy primitives and instead found apex predators. You will tell your fleets that humanity is not interested. In peace, Carter continued. You will tell them that we've been preparing for this war since we first detected alien radio signals. You will tell them that every dirty trick we used against you today is just the beginning. She paused to let that sink in. Most importantly, you will tell them that humans are not like other species. We don't fight to defend territory or resources. We fight to win completely. And we're very good at it. Commander Voth Kalar of the Nexari fleet spoke for all the alien survivors. Admiral Carter, surely there can be peace between our species. The Galactic Council will negotiate. The Galactic Council declared us an extinction threat and sent you here to kill us, Carter interrupted. That was their choice. Now they get to live with the consequences. She activated a star chart showing human space and the surrounding alien territories. Your species made a mistake. You assumed we were like every other primitive race you've conquered. You thought we'd be grateful to join your galactic civilization. You never bothered to study what humans do to enemies who threaten our families. The chart changed to show human expansion routes toward alien space. We've been preparing for this day for 50 years. We know where your homeworlds are. We know how many ships you have. We know which of your colonies are weakly defended. And now, we know how easily we can defeat your fleets. The alien commanders looked at the human expansion plans with growing horror. They realized that humanity had never intended to be victims. From the moment humans had discovered they were not alone in the universe, they had been planning to be predators. You have 1 week to reach your home systems and deliver our message, Carter announced. After that, human fleets will begin visiting alien space. We'll be coming to return the favor you tried to give us today. The 17 surviving ships limped out of the Sol system, carrying news that would change the galaxy forever. They brought word that humanity was not another spacefaring species to be conquered or controlled. They were something much more dangerous. 3. Months later, Captain Morrison stood in the rebuilt Earth Defense Command. His new ship, the UES Defiance II, was twice as powerful as his old vessel. Around him, construction crews worked to build the largest military fleet in human history. Sir, intelligence reports that 6 alien species have requested non-aggression. Pacts, reported Lieutenant Parker. The Vorthan Empire is offering tribute payments. The Nexari want to discuss technology-sharing agreements. Morrison smiled as he looked at the star charts showing human expansion. Tell them we'll consider their offers after we visit their home systems. We want to see how they treat guests who come uninvited. The memorial wall in the command center listed 23,000 human casualties from the battle. It was a heavy price, but it had bought humanity something more valuable than peace. It had bought them respect. Admiral Carter joined Morrison at the memorial wall. Any regrets about how we handled things? Morrison shook his head. They came here to exterminate our entire species. We showed them what happens when you threaten human families. I'd say we were remarkably restrained. The galaxy doesn't see it that way. They're calling us monsters. Good, Morrison replied. Monsters don't get invaded by aliens who think they're easy targets. Sometimes being feared is better than being loved. Outside the command center, human ships prepared for their first offensive operations in alien space. The age of human expansion had begun, and the galaxy would never be the same. The aliens had wanted to destroy humanity before it became a threat. Instead, they had taught humans that the galaxy was full of enemies who needed to be dealt with, and humans were very good at dealing with enemies. The 17 witnesses had delivered their message. Now it was time for the galaxy to learn what that message meant. By the 4th hour of battle, Admiral Kethvor's perfect fleet had become a scattered mob of frightened ships. More than 6,000 alien vessels had been destroyed or disabled. The remaining ships tried to regroup, but human tactics made it impossible. Sir, we've lost contact with the Hegemony 4th Fleet, reported what remained of Kethvor's command staff. The Nexari bombers are requesting permission to retreat. The Vorthon assault groups are completely scattered. Kethvor stared at his tactical display. Red icons marked destroyed alien ships while green dots showed human vessels still fighting. The numbers made no sense. How could 847 human ships defeat 9,900 alien vessels? "Get me a channel to the Galactic Council," he ordered. "They need to know what we're facing here." But his communications officer shook her head. "Sir, the humans have jammed all our long-range transmitters. We can't contact anyone outside this system." That was when Kethvor realized the truth. The humans had not just planned to win this battle. They had planned to make sure no one could call for help. This was not a defensive action. It was a trap. Captain Morrison's ship had taken heavy damage, but he refused to retreat. The Defiance limped through space on backup power, her hull torn open in a dozen places. Half his crew was dead or wounded, but Morrison was not finished fighting. "Sir, the hegemony battlecruiser is trying to escape," reported his tactical officer. "She's heading for the jump point." Morrison looked at his ship's status display. They had no main engines, no shields, and only one working weapon. But they still had one thing the aliens did not understand. They had human determination. "Set course to intercept," he ordered. "All power to engines." "Captain, we barely have life support. If we push the engines any harder, the ship will break apart." Morrison smiled. It was the same smile his grandfather had worn at the Battle of the Asteroid Fields 50 years ago. "Then we better make this count. Prepare for ramming. Speed!" The bridge crew looked at their captain with something between respect and terror. They knew he was serious. When humans fought, they fought until the end, even if the end meant dying. "You heard the captain," said Lieutenant Parker. "All power to engines. Let's show these aliens what humans do when we're cornered." The Defiance accelerated toward the fleeing hegemony ship. The alien crew watched in disbelief as the damaged human vessel picked up speed. They could not understand why the humans would throw their lives away for no strategic gain. But Morrison understood something the aliens did not. Sometimes winning a battle was not about strategy or tactics. Sometimes it was about showing your enemy that you would rather die than lose. The psychological impact of one ship sacrificing itself could be worth more than a dozen tactical victories. "This is Captain Morrison to all human vessels," he announced on the fleet frequency. "The Defiance is going out fighting. Make sure these aliens remember why they should have stayed home." The human ship struck the hegemony battlecruiser at full speed. Both vessels exploded in a nuclear fireball that could be seen from Mars. But Morrison had achieved his goal. Every alien in the system saw one human ship choose death over defeat. The effect on alien morale was devastating. They realized they were not fighting a normal enemy. They were fighting a species that would rather die than surrender. Every human ship was potentially a suicide bomber. Every human crew was willing to sacrifice themselves to hurt the alien fleet. Commander Sarah. Bell commanded the Outer System Defense Group from her flagship, the UES Thunder. Her ships had been holding the jump points to prevent alien reinforcements from arriving. Now she had a different mission. "All ships, this is Bell. Time for Operation Nightmare. Show them what we learned from the War of the Outer Colonies." The Thunder and 15 other human ships began broadcasting on every frequency the aliens used, but instead of threatening messages or demands for surrender, they broadcast something much more frightening. They broadcast human history. "This is the story of the Battle of Stalingrad," Bell announced as her ships transmitted images and recordings. 2 human armies fought for one city for 872 days. Over 2 million humans died. Neither side would surrender. The aliens listened in growing horror as they learned about human warfare. They heard about battles where humans fought for years over single mountains. They learned about wars where humans killed their own prisoners rather than feed them. They discovered that humans had once dropped nuclear weapons on their own cities rather than surrender to other humans. "This is what humans do to each other," Bell continued. "What do you think we'll do to aliens who come to exterminate our species?" The psychological warfare was more effective than any weapon. Alien crews realized they were fighting a species that considered total annihilation preferable to defeat. These were not civilized beings who would negotiate when the battle turned against them. These were apex predators who had survived by being more ruthless than anything else on their planet. Captain Chris Murphy commanded the destroyer UES Vengeance. His ship was small and fast, designed to hunt enemy vessels that tried to escape the main battle. Murphy had grown up on the frontier worlds, where human colonists fought constant battles against pirates and raiders. He knew how to track fleeing enemies. There, he pointed at his screen. 6 Vorthan ships trying to reach the jump point. They think they can run home and warn their fleets. But Murphy had other plans. His ship carried experimental weapons that pushed the boundaries of what galactic law allowed. The Geneva Conventions had rules about treatment of prisoners and civilian targets, but there were no rules about what humans could do to alien invaders who came to commit genocide. "Target their engines first," Murphy ordered. "I want them crippled, not destroyed. Yet." The Vengeance opened fire with weapons that used artificial gravity to crush enemy ships from the inside. The Vorthan vessels tried to return fire, but their weapons were designed for honorable combat between civilized species. Murphy's weapons were designed by humans who had spent centuries finding new ways to kill each other. "Sir, all 6 ships are disabled," reported his weapons officer. "They're requesting quarter under the galactic rules of war." Murphy laughed. "Tell them humans never signed the galactic rules of war, and remind them they came here to exterminate our entire species." The Vengeance moved closer to the disabled alien ships. Murphy activated his external communications and spoke directly. "To the alien crews. This is Captain Murphy of the human destroyer Vengeance. You came to Sol System to kill every man, woman, and child on Earth. You wanted to wipe out our entire species because we scared you. Well, congratulations. You should be scared." He paused to let that sink in. "Now you're going to send a message to your home fleets. Tell them what happened here. Tell them what humans do to aliens who threaten our families. And tell them that, if any alien ship ever enters human space again, we'll come to your worlds and show you what 10,000 years of human warfare can really accomplish." The alien crews listened in terror as Murphy described what humans had done to other humans throughout their history. They learned about cities burned to the ground, populations enslaved, entire cultures erased from existence. They discovered that humans had perfected every form of warfare that alien species considered too horrible to use. "You have 1 hour to repair your ships and leave this system," Murphy concluded. "If you're still here after that, I'll show you why human pirates are the most feared predators in this part of the galaxy." The Vorthan ships limped away as fast as their damaged engines could carry them. They would spread word throughout the alien fleets that humans were not just dangerous. They were the kind of enemy that gave civilized species nightmares. Admiral Keth Vor tried one last time to rally his remaining forces. Less than 3,000 ships remained from his original fleet of 9,900. Many of those were damaged and low on supplies. But he could not accept that a primitive species had defeated the greatest military force in galactic history. "All ships, form up for one final assault," he ordered. "We still outnumber them. We can still win this." But his own crews were no longer listening. They had seen what humans did to enemies who fought them. They had learned that humans treated war as an art form where the canvas was painted with enemy blood. They knew that continuing this battle meant certain death. One by one, alien ships began to surrender or flee. The great alien armada that had come to destroy humanity was falling apart from fear and despair. They had expected to fight primitives. Instead, they had found the galaxy's most effective killers, and the humans were not finished with them yet. Jake Morrison pressed his hand against the command panel, and the new horizon came alive. The change was immediate and shocking. Hull plates slid away with mechanical precision, revealing weapon arrays that had been hidden beneath false panels. The ship's outer skin transformed as armor plating extended and locked into place. What had looked like a simple cargo hauler now bristled with military hardware. Shields at full power, Lisa announced as her console lit up with new displays. The navigation station revealed its true purpose, showing tactical information and targeting data that no merchant ship should possess. Tony's engineering station erupted with power readings that climbed far beyond normal levels. "Fusion reactor online," he said, his voice steady and professional. "All weapon systems charged and ready." The Zephyrian ships suddenly found themselves facing something completely different from what their sensors had shown them. Energy readings spiked as the New Horizons' true power plant came online. The reactor that had appeared weak and outdated now pumped out energy levels that exceeded anything in the alien database. "What is this?" The alien captain's voice came through the comm system, no longer confident. "Your ship readings are impossible." Amy Roberts worked at her station, which had transformed from basic communications gear into a sophisticated electronic warfare suite. "I am jamming their communications, Captain. They cannot call for help." Steve Collins opened the wall panel. Again. But this time he pulled out military gear that no cargo ship should carry. Powered armor pieces clicked together as he began suiting up. His rifle was not the simple plasma weapon it had appeared to be, but a military-grade kinetic cannon designed to punch through alien hull armor. "Incoming fire," Lisa warned. The lead Zephyrian ship fired its main weapon at the New Horizon. The blue energy beam struck the human ship's shields and scattered harmlessly around them. The aliens had expected to see the cargo ship's weak defenses collapse. Instead, the energy seemed to feed into the human shields, making them stronger. "Human adaptive shielding," Tony explained to no one in particular. "Takes their energy and adds it to our own defense grid." Jake opened the comm channel. His voice had changed completely. Gone was the nervous merchant captain. Now he spoke with the authority of a military commander. "This is Captain Jake Morrison of the Earth Defense Force vessel New Horizon," he said. "You have attacked a human military ship. Surrender immediately, or face destruction." Silence filled the comm channel for several seconds. Then harsh alien laughter echoed through the speakers. "Impossible," the alien captain said. "You are merchants. We have hunted human ships for years. You are weak and frightened creatures who surrender at the first sign of force." "You have been hunting the wrong humans," Jake replied. The New Horizon's main guns swiveled toward the closest Zephyrian ship. These were not the light weapons typically found on cargo vessels. They were military-grade plasma cannons designed to destroy enemy warships. "Fire," Jake ordered. The space around them lit up as the New Horizons' weapons unleashed their fury. Plasma bolts struck the nearest Zephyrian ship with devastating force. The alien vessel's shields collapsed immediately, and the hull began to crack under the assault. "Their armor is melting," Lisa reported, watching her tactical display. "Hull breach in 3 sections. The damaged Zephyrian ship tried to return fire, but its weapons systems had been destroyed in the first volley. Emergency lights flickered across its hull as the crew fought to keep their ship from breaking apart." "How is this possible?" the alien captain demanded. "Our intelligence said human ships were inferior." "Your intelligence was wrong," Jake said. "You have been attacking civilian vessels. We are not civilians." Tony worked at his station, fine-tuning the ship's power output. "Captain, I can give you 20% more firepower if you need it." "Save it for now," Jake replied. "Let them see what we can do with standard power." The second Zephyrian ship moved to attack, firing everything it had at the New Horizon. Energy beams and projectile weapons struck the human ship's shields. The impacts created brilliant light shows, but the shields held easily. "Their weapons are not designed to fight human technology," Amy said. "Our shields adapt faster than they can adjust their targeting." Steve finished putting on his armor and checked his weapons. The powered suit made him look twice as big and 10 times more dangerous. "Captain, if any of them try to board us, they will get a surprise." "I hope they try," Jake said. "Show them what a human soldier can do." The New Horizon fired again, this time at the second attacker. The plasma cannons had been designed by human engineers who understood both alien technology and human innovation. The weapons combined the best of both approaches, creating devastating firepower that the Zephyrians had never encountered. The second ship's shields failed after only 3 hits. Its hull began to glow as the plasma bolts melted through the metal. Explosions erupted across its surface as internal systems overloaded. 2 ships disabled, Lisa reported. The third one is trying to run. Jake smiled coldly. Amy, open a channel to the fleeing ship. Channel open, Captain. Zephyrian vessel, this is your final warning, Jake said. Stop your engines and surrender, or join your friends. The third ship ignored the warning and continued to accelerate away from the battle. Its captain had seen enough to know that this was not a fight his ships could win. He thinks he can escape, Tony said. Let him think that for a few more seconds, Jake replied. Lisa, show him how fast we really are. Lisa's hands moved over her controls, and the New Horizons suddenly accelerated. The ship that had appeared slow and clumsy now moved like a racing vessel. Within moments, they had closed the distance to the fleeing Zephyrian ship. Impossible speed, Amy intercepted from the alien ship's communications. How can a cargo vessel move so fast? Because we are not a cargo vessel, Jake said into the comm. Final warning. Surrender now. The Zephyrian captain chose to fight instead of surrender. His ship spun around and fired everything it had at the approaching New Horizon. Missiles, energy beams, and projectile weapons filled the space between the 2 ships. The human ship flew through the attack without slowing down. Its shields deflected the missiles, while the plasma bolts simply added energy to the defensive grid. The New Horizon emerged from the alien barrage completely undamaged. Return fire, Jake ordered. This time, the New Horizon used its full firepower. Multiple weapon systems fired simultaneously, creating a wall of destruction that the Zephyrian ship could not avoid. The alien vessel's shields collapsed instantly, and its hull began to disintegrate under the massive assault. Within seconds, the third Zephyrian ship was nothing but glowing debris floating in space. All targets destroyed, Lisa announced. Jake looked at his crew with pride. They had performed perfectly, revealing the New Horizon's true capabilities at exactly the right moment. The ship that pirates had thought was easy prey had turned out to be their worst nightmare. Well done, everyone, Jake said. Amy, scan the wreckage for survivors. 2 life pods detected, Amy reported, both from the first ship we disabled. Bring them aboard, Jake ordered. We need to question them about their operations. Steve grinned inside his powered armor. I will prepare a proper welcome for our guests. Tony began powering down the weapon systems, but kept the main reactor at full output. Should I restore our disguise? Not yet, Jake said. We might need our real capabilities again soon. The New Horizon moved toward the life pods while its crew prepared for the next phase of their mission. They had revealed themselves to destroy 3 pirate ships, but that was only the beginning. The real work was about to start. Jake looked at the tactical display showing the destruction they had caused. 3 Zephyrian ships reduced to wreckage in less than 10 minutes. The pirates had learned too late that some human ships were not what they appeared to be. Captain, Amy said, I am picking up transmissions from deeper in the system. Looks like there are more pirate ships out there. Good, Jake replied. We have more work to do. The New Horizon moved through space, no longer hiding what it really was. The hunt had begun. The New Horizon's cargo bay doors opened with a mechanical hiss. Steve Collins stood waiting in his powered armor as the 2 Zephyrian life pods were brought aboard. The alien survivors had no idea what was about to happen to them. Jake Morrison walked into the cargo bay as the pods settled onto the deck. Through the transparent aluminum windows, he could see the aliens inside. They were tall creatures with gray skin and 4 arms, typical of the Zephyrian species. Their large black eyes showed fear, as they looked at the human ship around them. "Open the pods," Jake ordered. Steve moved forward and activated the release mechanisms. The pods cracked open, releasing a cloud of alien atmosphere. 4 Zephyrians stumbled out, looking around nervously at their captors. "You are prisoners of the Earth Defense Force," Jake said in their language. The translation device in his throat made his words sound harsh and guttural. "Cooperate, and you will be treated. According to military law, resist and face the consequences." The largest Zephyrian, who wore the markings of a ship commander, stepped forward. "I am Captain Vextar of the raider ship Bloodfang. By what right do you hold us?" "By the right of victory," Jake replied. "Your ships attacked a human vessel, without provocation. That makes you pirates and enemies of Earth." Vextar looked around the cargo bay with growing confusion. What he saw did not match what his sensors had told him about this ship. Military equipment filled every corner, weapons, armor, and technology that should not exist on a cargo vessel. "You disguised your ship," Vextar said. "You made us think. You were helpless merchants." "We let you think what you wanted to think," Jake corrected. "You saw a cargo ship because that is what you expected to see." Steve activated his armor's intimidation protocols. Servos whined as the suit made him appear even larger and more threatening. "Captain, should I prepare the interrogation room?" "Not yet," Jake said. "Our guests might be willing to talk freely first." Amy Roberts entered the cargo bay carrying a portable scanner. She began checking the aliens for weapons and recording devices. The scanner beeped softly as it examined each prisoner. "Clean," Amy announced. "No weapons, no tracking devices, no communication gear." "Good," Jake said. He turned back to Vextar. "Now, let us discuss your operations in this sector." The alien, Captain straightened with what dignity he could manage. "I will tell you nothing, human. Kill me if you wish, but I will not betray my people." Jake smiled, but there was no warmth in the expression. "I am not going to kill you, Captain. I am going to do something much worse. I am going to let you live to see what happens to your pirate network." Lisa Parker's voice came through the comm system. "Captain, we have located their base ship. It is hiding in the asteroid field about 6 hours away at current speed." "Excellent," Jake said. "Set course to intercept." Vexitar's eyes widened. "Impossible. Our base is hidden. Your sensors could never find it." "Your base was hidden from merchant vessels," Tony Martinez said as he entered the cargo bay. "We are not merchants." The New Horizon began to move, accelerating toward the asteroid field where the pirate base waited. Jake left the prisoners under Steve's guard and returned to the bridge. "Report," he said as he took his command chair. "The base ship is a converted cargo hauler," Lisa said, reading from her sensors. "About 3 times our size, with heavy modifications for long-term operations. I count at least 20 smaller ships docked with it." "Crew complement?" Jake asked. "Estimated 400 Zephyrians," Amy replied, "plus an unknown number of prisoners from their raids." Jake nodded grimly. Pirates often kept prisoners to sell, as slaves or worse. Rescuing those people was now part of their mission. "Tony, how are our systems holding up?" "All green, Captain," Tony said. "That fight barely stressed our capabilities. We could take on 10 more ships without breaking a sweat." "We might have to," Jake said. "Amy, what kind of communications traffic are you seeing?" "Lots of chatter from the base," Amy said. "They know something happened to their raiding party, but they do not know what." The jamming prevented any distress signals. Jake smiled. That meant the pirates were confused and frightened. They would make mistakes, and he intended to take advantage of every one. "Time to arrival?" he asked. 4 hours at current speed," Lisa replied. "Should I increase velocity?" "No," Jake said. "Let them wonder what happened to their ships. Fear will make them sloppy." The New Horizon moved through space toward its target. In the cargo bay, Steve Collins watched the Zephyrian prisoners carefully. They sat in a corner, speaking quietly to each other in their own language. "Planning something?" Steve asked in heavily accented Zephyrian. The aliens looked surprised that he could understand them. They had been discussing their ship's defensive capabilities and wondering how the humans had defeated them so easily. "Nothing to plan," Vextar said. "Your ship is too strong. We cannot escape." "Smart," Steve said. "Your people made a mistake when they started attacking human ships." "We have raided human vessels for years," another alien said. "They always surrender. They are weak." Steve laughed, the sound echoing strangely through his armor's speakers. "You have been raiding the wrong humans. We are not weak." On the bridge, Jake studied the tactical information Lisa had gathered about the pirate base. The converted cargo ship was heavily armed but designed for intimidation rather than real combat. Most pirate vessels were built to scare merchants, not fight military ships. "Their weapons are impressive against civilian targets," he said. "Against us, they will be useless." "Should we try to disable them?" Amy asked. "We could take prisoners and gather intelligence." "We will try," Jake said. "But if they resist, we destroy them completely. I will not risk human lives to save pirates." Tony looked up from his engineering station. "Captain, I have an idea. We captured some of their technology from the wreckage. I could modify our weapons to use their own energy signatures against them." "Explain," Jake said. "Their shields are designed to stop Zephyrian weapons," Tony said. "If we can make our weapons look like theirs, we might be able to punch right through their defenses." Jake considered the idea. It was risky, but if it worked, they could end the fight quickly with minimal damage to any prisoners being held on the base. "Do it," he ordered. "How long do you need?" 2 hours, Tony said. "Maybe less if Steve helps me with the heavy lifting." Jake activated the comm system. "Steve, report to engineering. Bring our guests with you. They might be able to help Tony with technical specifications." "On my way, Captain," Steve replied. Within minutes, Steve arrived in engineering with the 4 Zephyrian prisoners. They looked nervous as they saw the advanced human technology surrounding them. "Your weapon systems," Tony said to Vextar. "I need technical specifications." "I will not help you attack my people," Vextar said firmly. Steve stepped closer, his armor making servo noises. "Let me explain something to you. Your people have been attacking human ships and taking prisoners. We know they sell humans as slaves. That makes them our enemies." He paused to let that sink in. "Now, you can help us stop them quickly and cleanly, or we can do this the hard way. Either way, we are going to win. The only question is, how many people die in the process?" Vextar looked at the other prisoners, then back at Steve's intimidating armor. After a long moment, he nodded slowly. "What do you need to know?" For the next 2 hours, Tony worked with alien technical data to modify the New Horizons weapons. The process was complex, requiring him to understand both human and Zephyrian technology well enough to make them work together. Meanwhile, Jake studied intelligence reports about the pirate base. Amy had intercepted enough communications to build a picture of their operations. What she found made his anger burn hotter. "They have been taking prisoners for months," Amy reported. "Humans, but also other species. The manifest I decoded shows over 200 people being held for sale." "Any Earth Defense Force personnel?" Jake asked. "At least a dozen," Amy said. "Including the crew of the transport ship Mercy that disappeared 3 months ago." Jake's jaw clenched. The Mercy had been carrying medical supplies to colonies hit by plague. Its crew were healers and aid workers, not soldiers. The thought of them in pirate hands made him want to destroy the entire base immediately. "Tony, how is the weapons modification coming?" he called. "Almost finished," Tony replied. "This alien technology is actually quite sophisticated. I can see why they thought they were superior to human weapons." "Thought?" Steve asked. "Past tense," Tony said with a grin. "Wait until they see what human engineering can do with their designs." The New Horizon continued toward its target, now armed with hybrid weapons that combined the best of human and alien technology. The pirates waiting at their base had no idea that their own equipment was about to be used against them. On the bridge, Jake watched the asteroid field grow larger on the main screen. Somewhere in that maze of rock and ice, 400 pirates thought they were safe. They were about to learn how wrong they could be. 1 hour to target, Lisa announced. Battle stations, Jake ordered. It is time to end this. The New Horizon moved silently through the asteroid field, its sensors mapping every rock and hiding place. Jake Morrison studied the tactical display as they approached the pirate base. The converted cargo ship hung in space behind a massive asteroid, trying to stay hidden from passing ships. Target acquired, Lisa Parker announced from her station. The base ship is exactly where we expected. 22 smaller vessels docked or in close formation. Jake nodded. The pirates had built themselves a small fleet, but they had made one. Critical mistake. They had never faced a real military opponent. Amy, what are you hearing from their communications? Jake asked. Amy Roberts adjusted her equipment and listened carefully. Panic, she said. They lost contact with the raiding party hours ago. The base commander is demanding answers that nobody can give. Perfect, Jake said. Fear makes people stupid. Tony, are the modified weapons ready? Tony Martinez looked up from his engineering console with satisfaction. Ready and tested, Captain. We can punch through their shields like they are not even there. The Zephyrian prisoners sat in the corner of the bridge under Steve Collins' watchful eye. Vexitar watched the human preparations with growing concern. You do not understand, Vexitar said suddenly. That base holds more than just my people. There are prisoners from dozens of species. If you attack with full force, innocents will die. Jake turned to look at the alien captain. Which is why we will not use full force. We will be precise. Impossible, Vexitar said. Ship-to-ship combat cannot be precise. People will die. Steve stepped forward, his armor clicking softly. You do not know much about human military doctrine, do you? Jake activated the ship's internal communication system. All hands, this is the captain. We are about to engage a heavily defended pirate base holding over 200 prisoners from multiple species. Our mission is to rescue those prisoners and destroy the pirate operation. Standard rescue protocols are in effect. Throughout the ship, the crew prepared for a different kind of battle. This would not be the simple destruction they had inflicted on the raiding party. This required skill, precision, and the kind of tactical thinking that humans had perfected over centuries of warfare. Approaching attack range, Lisa announced. They still have not detected us. The New Horizon stealth systems were military-grade, designed to hide the ship from enemy sensors until the moment of attack. The pirates were using civilian detection equipment that could not penetrate human military stealth technology. Target. The weapon systems first, Jake ordered. Disable their ability to fight back, then we board and secure the prisoners. Multiple targets locked, Lisa said. Weapon systems on the base ship and escort vessels identified and targeted. Jake took a deep breath. This was the moment when everything would change. Fire. The New Horizon's modified weapons opened fire with devastating precision. The energy beams looked exactly like Zephyrian weapons to the pirate sensors, but they carried far more power than any alien gun could generate. The pirate base's shields flickered and died as the hybrid weapons punched through them effortlessly. Secondary explosions erupted across the converted cargo ship as weapon systems overloaded and failed. Direct hits on all primary targets, Lisa reported. Their main weapons are offline. The smaller pirate ships tried to respond, but Tony's modifications made their return fire useless. Their weapons could not penetrate the New Horizon's shields, while the human ship's guns destroyed their capability to fight with surgical precision. This is impossible, Vexitar whispered. Our weapons are bouncing off your shields like toy guns. Your weapons are inferior, Steve said simply. Human engineering is better. Within 5 minutes, the entire pirate fleet was defenseless. Their ships remained intact, but they could not fight back. Jake had achieved exactly what he wanted, complete tactical dominance with minimal damage to the structures holding prisoners. "Amy, open a channel to the base ship," Jake ordered. "Channel open, Captain." Jake's voice echoed through the pirate base as he spoke. "This is Captain Jake Morrison of the Earth Defense Force vessel New Horizon. Your fleet is disabled and surrounded. Surrender immediately and release all prisoners, or face total destruction." Silence filled the communication channel for several seconds. Then a harsh alien voice responded. "This is Commander Galactic of the Freezeferian Fleet. We do not surrender to inferior species." Jake smiled coldly. "You are no longer in a position to make demands, Commander. Your weapons are destroyed and your ships are helpless. This is your final warning." "You cannot destroy us," Galactic said. "We hold prisoners from your species and others. Attack us, and they die." "Wrong," Jake said. "You are going to release those prisoners voluntarily, or we will come aboard and take them." Harsh laughter came through the speakers. "Impossible. You have one ship against our entire base. Even without weapons, we outnumber you 400 to 1. Steve Collins checked his equipment one more time and activated his armor's combat systems. "Captain, permission to show them how wrong they are." "Granted," Jake said. "Take a boarding party and secure the prisoners. Rules of engagement are weapons free against any armed resistance." Steve moved toward the airlock, where a team of combat specialists waited. Each human wore powered armor and carried weapons designed specifically for close-quarters fighting. Aboard starships. "Amy, jam all their internal communications," Jake ordered. "I want them confused and isolated." "Jamming active," Amy confirmed. "They cannot coordinate their defense." The New Horizon moved closer to the pirate base, its docking, clamps extending to lock onto the larger ship's hull. Emergency lights flashed throughout the alien vessel as its crew realized they were being boarded. Steve's team cut through the airlock with plasma torches and poured into the pirate ship. What they found was chaos. The Zephyrians had never faced human soldiers in close combat, and they were completely unprepared for what followed. Human-powered armor moved through the ship's corridors like unstoppable machines. The pirates' personal weapons could not penetrate the military-grade protection, while human kinetic weapons tore through alien cover like paper. "Resistance is collapsing," Steve reported over the comm. "These pirates have never fought real soldiers before." Jake monitored the boarding action from the bridge, while Lisa tracked the movements of both teams through the ship's sensor network. The human soldiers moved with precision and purpose, securing key areas while minimizing damage to the structure. "Prisoner sections located," Steve announced, "beginning liberation operations." Throughout the base ship, locked doors burst open as human soldiers freed the captives inside. Men, women, and children from a dozen different species stumbled out of their cells, hardly believing they were being rescued. Among them were the 12 Earth Defense Force personnel from the lost transport Mercy. They were weak from months of captivity, but alive and grateful to see human soldiers. "All prisoners secured," Steve reported. "The pirates who did not resist are being held for questioning." Jake felt satisfaction flow through him. The mission was succeeding beyond his expectations. They had defeated an entire pirate fleet without losing a single person on either side. "What about their commander?" Jake asked. "Galactic barricaded himself in the command center with a handful of loyal followers," Steve said. "They are demanding to negotiate." "No negotiation," Jake said firmly. "They are pirates and slavers. They surrender unconditionally or face the consequences." Amy intercepted communications from the command center. "They are talking about destroying the ship rather than surrender," she reported. Jake's expression hardened. "Steve, breach the command center. End this." The final assault lasted less than 2 minutes. Human soldiers blasted through the reinforced doors and overwhelmed the remaining pirates with superior weapons and tactics. Galactic surrendered when he realized that resistance was futile. "Base secured," Steve announced. All prisoners are safe and all pirates are in custody. Jake allowed himself a moment of satisfaction. They had destroyed an entire pirate operation, rescued hundreds of prisoners, and captured valuable intelligence about other criminal activities in the sector. "Excellent work, everyone," Jake said. "Amy, start downloading their computer files. I want everything they know about pirate operations in this region." "Already working on it," Amy said. "These files contain information about slave markets, illegal weapons dealers, and corrupt officials across 3 star systems." Tony looked up from his station with excitement. "Captain, their engineering section has some interesting technology. With your permission, I would like to study their power systems." "Do it," Jake said. "Any advantage we can gain will help in future operations." Vextar sat quietly in the corner, watching the humans work with growing amazement. "You defeated 400 of my people with a crew of 5. "We had advantages," Jake said simply. "Better training, better equipment, and better tactics." "But how?" Vexatar asked. "Your species is supposed to be weak." "That is what all the intelligence reports said." Steve removed his helmet and looked at the alien prisoner. "Your intelligence was based on civilian ships. You never encountered our military before." Jake walked over to the tactical display where Amy was organizing the captured data. What she had found would keep Earth Defense Force intelligence busy for months.